Okay, today is Christmas Day. So these girls are out on this sunny day and they are bringing in food. Now, I made a podcast about this multiple times, but there's nothing wrong with resharing. So, what I've noticed about these girls compared to the farm bees, these girls can be set off easier. Um, they're more temperamental. So they're going like, okay, this wasn't, this object wasn't here earlier. I'm gonna go buzz it, and they'll just buzz me, try to get me to move from a certain distance. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, all the food coming in there. She's got like a creamy colored one on. There's an orange. Oh, there's a lot of food coming in. So that's a lot. That's about as much as I see in the springtime. And here it is, December 25th, 2025. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. Appreciate that. Leave a comment. And they're just bringing in food like springtime. All from the, I imagine it's all from the dirt. Up here, Ginger. Up, baby. There you go. Good girl. I imagine it's all from the dirt because where else can they get it, right? Last season's pollen that they didn't get, that flowers dropped their pollen. Look at that orange. I've seen some that was red. Look at all that stuff coming in there. Looks like about 50% of them coming in have pollen on their legs. Yeah, so a lot of times they'll use, in dating something, they'll use certain kinds of pollen to date the soil, because pollen can last for millions of years. It gets buried. It's a protein. Um, Proteins can linger. Our DNA is made of proteins, and that's why we were able to get DNA from the Neanderthal, right? Because those proteins in the DNA, along with the DNA, the proteins actually help protect and prolong the DNA. And so they're out there digging. I've seen them. I've even seen them in moss. So I was walking along and I happened to be looking down and I saw one digging in the moss. Well, I suppose there's some sort of minerals, because they will also get nutrients from leaves, tree bark, wood. I watch them just scrape it and then carry it away. So they're very resourceful. It's not just the nectar. Now, the thing about nectar, that's the sugars. That's their powerhouse stuff, right? That's what gives them the energy to fly. Protein, not so much for energy. It can provide some, but it can weaken the hive if that's all they get. So the sugar is the powerhouse food, and so they're not getting any. They're not getting any sugars. Well, no nectar. They might be finding some sort of sugar-based something in something, maybe. But right now, what they're relying on is their honey storage. So what I did, I had about 150 pounds of honey. I jarred about a dozen, but just the little jars, because my thing was, I just didn't want them to leave too many open frames, because the wax moths get in there and literally eat the comb. It just destroys it. So I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and jar some honey. So if they start getting low sometime in the winter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've got some lids that I've punched some holes in, just enough for their asbestos to get through there. So it's kind of like a hummingbird's tongue, right? It's really long, like a hummingbird's tongue, right? Hummingbird uses their tongue like a straw, and so do bees. Same thing. And so what they'll do is I'll put that jar of honey on the inside so it stays warm, and they'll continue to feed on the honey if they start getting low. Because when a hive detects that the reserves are getting to a certain point, they'll start doing massive die-offs. Last year I was out here doing something, and nothing, everything looks clean. Because I don't have no dirt. This is all old roofing shingles that I put down. And next day I came out, there was probably 10,000 dead and dying bees in front. And that was probably at the end of November, 1st of December last year. And about 2 months later, they or less, maybe 5 weeks or so, same thing, another 10,000. So I'm assuming that they just sensed that the reserves were getting too low. And so to protect the hive, like a switch went off and they left. And so they just came out here and allowed themselves to starve. Now a bee can only live about 40 minutes without some sort of food source. And they store quite a bit in fat. They look small, but they've got actually a good amount of fat storage, especially these winter bees. These are winter bees. And what happens is in late fall, the queen will shift from laying standard bees to winter bees. And they'll get more royal jelly to make the bees bigger so they can hold more fat. And so, because they need that to really help keep the hive around that 92, 93 degrees temperature, because she'll lay the eggs, and they have to spoon around those eggs to vibrate their bodies so that they can keep that temperature up, so that the larvae don't die. And so when I took this apart and did a sugar shake a few weeks back, yeah, they're all in there really in a tight bunch spooning, right? And they actually went, so they're in towards the back here, and there was a big cluster, and they actually had clustered inside the super up here. So they were in the super in the main hive chamber, which is this is called the brood and the super. And so, yeah, and I'll probably also give them some mountain feeding. So I just take sugar and I put it on this dividing board on top, and spread that out, give it some spray with some water so it becomes kind of liquidy but not too runny, just kind of stays there, and they eat that up. That's how I fed them last year. Now when I noticed that all those were done, I kind of assumed that they were running low on resources. So yeah, I fed them twice, and they ate it all. So there you go. Yep, they look happy. So what I do now I typically don't eat honey, anything that's got sugar in it. But what I'm doing, because I got all this honey, I'll take some tree seed bread and take it out of the freezer, because I freeze my bread, and I'll toast that, because you get like a 65% reduction in glucose spikes if you freeze your bread, even white bread. For those of you who eat white bread, yeah, freeze it first, and then toast it actually. Toasting it locks those glucose molecules, so it creates a longer chain where it's harder for molecule chain for your gut to absorb it and spike your glucose. Anyway, biological science. And so, so what I'll do is I'll toast one of those tree breads. It looks brown, and it's got a lot of seeds mixed up in it and all that, and I'll put like a teaspoon of this honey on there, and that's how I eat this honey. Not very often, but I got it. Shoot. And so yeah, I'll be giving it to family and friends, I suppose. And so look at all that food. That is just amazing. That is a lot of food. I'll give you a better angle here. Yeah, I know this is going to be in your way, isn't it, girls? Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. So you can get a better view on what's coming in there. And yeah, might be close enough. Excuse me, girls. Coming through. No stinging now. Drop this a little bit. There we go. And get a better view of all that food. Not a single flower in my neighborhood. It's kind of cool to know, though. That was a dark red. it's just, I just find that amazing. Amazing. Some of them have so much the pollen's just literally falling off from their legs. Yeah. So a couple days ago, there was a pretty good size navigational flight, and so that was new girls that were ready to come out, newborns. You know, they'd been around for about a week or so in there, and so they came out and did their navigational flight. It was a big cluster here, you know, getting their orientation. Okay, where is my home? Well, I think that's it. And they go up, you know, way out, back in, way out until they feel confident. And I'll watch them come and land here for the last time, and off they go. And so I've been having what's really cool is my old hive, that would happen every day, even through the winter. So virtually every day when the weather was right, I have orientation flights on the farm bees that were sitting here. And not these girls, no. These girls about I'll see maybe one or two, maybe three in a row. Then I won't see any navigational flights for weeks, which is perfect, right? What that does is it doesn't allow, so she stops laying eggs. That's the only way that can happen. So look at that, all that orange. She stops laying eggs, and those varroa mites, that's where they lay their brood, their eggs, right, is inside those cells. If there is no cells for them to lay eggs, it keeps, so I had a really bad infestation because I transferred this one to that one. I put on a screen and they just dropped right through that screen and infected my other healthy bees. So for 6 months, my swarm that I caught, they had no varroa mites. I didn't see any dead or dying bees for 6 months. And that's why I felt confident enough to combine the sick hive with the healthy hive. So I just thought they would recover, and they did. So now what I'm getting, my last count, oh, she died. Oh, you're dying. So my last count the other day was 2 varroa mites. So that's really not enough to sustain a colony in there for the varroa mites. That's just going to eventually, there'll likely be none. She just takes too many breaks. Now, varroa mites can live about as long as a bee. So theoretically, the varroa mites could hang on. But the longer she continues to take those breaks, because I got that count down so low by doing the sugar shake, and I added what's called Apiguard. It was like a double thing, man. I hit it hard with both those things. Apiguard, which is a thyme oil mixture, and I got like 200 varroa mites the next day, 150, 100, next day 50, next day 30, 20, 10, till now I'm down to 2 a day. That's a big drop, and I feel fairly confident that, you know, the varroa mites are on their way out permanently. Because once I get them out permanently, the only threat then is when she goes into drone laying in spring. If there's any varroa mites that are in there still when she goes into drone laying, there'll be an explosion of varroa mites. So I have to monitor that. I like watching that food come in because I don't have to feed them, right? I fed them twice last year pollen patties, these long strips, wide strips, kind of flat. I fed the farm bees because I didn't have this swarm yet. So last year I fed them 2 pollen patties, the farm bees, to get them through the winter. This one I don't think so. I think these girls are bringing in. Look at that. That's like semi trucks. It's just crazy. Right? Yeah, I don't see any need, because this is the reason why I come out here frequently, because I want to get an idea of the frequency of how much food's coming in, and that'll put me in a position to determine whether or not I need to feed them or not, something. So like I was saying, I got about a dozen jars of honey, and I had about 150 pounds of honey, and so I just took the dozen jars, which maybe might have been 10 pounds, maybe something like that, and I left the rest for them. Right. So come spring, if they still have a lot of honey, which is when all the flowering things start and all the nectar starts coming in, I'll probably take most of that out. and jar that, and I'll use that for emergencies, for when down the road, because honey lasts forever if you keep it sealed, right, from drying out. And so if I ever see my girls where they're in need for food, toss a jar in there, turn it upside down with the holes, and feed away. Pretty cool. That way I won't have to buy any. Yeah, you're on your way out, aren't you, girl? Yeah. Life is so tough. Yeah, she just did a backflip on her back. She says, I'm done. I'm done. Yep, they just get old just like people. And that's the end of it. They live about 45 days. That's about the max on general. So between 30-ish to 45 days during spring, summer, fall. And the winter bees, they live up to 200 days. Boy, they have a long life. A lot of time to contemplate. Yeah, so what bees are dying now? Probably just still a few of them that are maybe getting the varroa mite infection, because there's a disease that just destroys their metabolic system and their immune system, and that makes them age faster also. And typically they actually come out, they know there's something wrong. I watch them come out and they'll stand here on the edge thinking something ain't right, they'll just kind of walk around for a moment and they'll go, yeah, something's definitely not right, and they'll just drop themselves off, and they might walk around a little bit, but that's it, they're done. Yeah. And so there you go, just out here enjoying watching my bees come with all that food. Boy, she's loaded heavy. Yeah, I've seen them many times. They're coming in, and some of them are so loaded that they get here, but they go underneath, and there they set. They're so exhausted from whatever distance they came from, because they can go up to 2 miles away. That's a 4-mile round trip. Sometimes they just run out of stored energy, and so I'll wait for a little bit, and she just stays there. I can tell she ain't gonna go anywhere. She's done right there if I don't pick her up. So I'll pick her up and put her up there, and she goes in and drops off her food, regenerates. Yeah, I picked up many bees that had food on their legs, and they were on the ground wet. They were out getting food and it rained, and their hairs and everything got saturated, and they got into hypothermia. And there they were on the ground, looked like they were dead. I pick them up, blow them in my hand, so I start feeling some moving around. It usually takes about 3 or 4 minutes, but then they start moving around. I say, okay, and then have I been stung like that? 2 times. Yeah. So it's actually, it's not in the winter that they sting me. It's they become more protective in spring, summer, and fall. So in the winter, I can pick them up. In early spring, no problem. But like mid-spring on, no, don't do that. But I'm an explorer. I like to, as long as I don't think it's going to kill me, I like to test the limits of things, to get a good idea of certain things. Exploratory, right? Critical thinking of. Sometimes that critical thinking can get us into trouble. Yeah, the last 2 times I got stung. The second to the last, I was in an emergency room. I drove myself. After 2 hours, it was getting worse, more difficult to breathe, chest pain. So I drove myself to the emergency room, and that was it. I just hung out at the emergency room for 3 hours. Oh, I'm better, and checked myself out. Then a couple weeks later, I got stung again on my finger. And I felt the fireworks going off almost immediately. It was just like a memory reaction, right? And I said no. So I focused on all the areas where I could feel fireworks going off. I was just calm. And I focused on calmness in those areas. And it didn't even take very long. A couple minutes, everything was normal. I didn't go into that anaphylactic shock again. And that was it. But I did get experience. Now the pain went away on my finger too. Then I got busy. Oh, it went away. Got busy, and then later on in the evening, the pain started again, and it started swelling. I'm thinking if I would have just stayed like that for about 20 minutes, focusing on, don't respond, relax, I may not have had any swelling or itching. Anyway, Yeah, my mind controlled that anaphylactic response. That was really weird too. I could actually physically I pictured myself actually going into those areas in my body. No, you shh, quiet. And I could literally physically feel those areas going from to maybe I'm okay. It's such a cool feeling, really. Mind over matter. Yeah. So there it is. Hope you all had or having a. Did you land on me? No. Hope you all having a good Christmas. Mine's very quiet. You know, calm, quiet, collective, silent. So yeah, there was days when my Christmases were so full of noise and you didn't give me what I wanted. Or you could feel that tension. Somebody didn't get what they wanted or were hoping for. That diamond ring wasn't big enough. There's something. Yeah, I don't miss those days. When I was a kid, I was raised on welfare and food stamps, and so there was actually many times there wasn't enough money to even for food and or shelter. And so, yeah, we didn't see Christmases in general. Once in a while we'd end up at the tree, it would be donated or something. And once in a while we'd be in a situation where the community would bring gifts. But there was many Christmases where there was nothing. What do you want, girl? Well, you get over here. Come over here. Come on, baby. Come on, over here. You can't. Do you see a place where you can over here? Do you see a place you can sit here? Come on up. No place for you to sit. She was like trying to climb up, and so yeah, but I had friends, and I'd go over there, before and or after Christmas, and I'd see all the gifts, and my friend's eyes big, and those were years I wouldn't see anything, and I'd see my friends getting all that stuff, and, I seen that how the family life is, culturally should be, and so when I got married and had kids, I was going to make a difference. I made sure that was a beautiful tree. Many times we'd go up in the mountains and cut it ourselves, pick one we wanted, and made sure that underneath that tree was loaded, packed with gifts, even if they were trinkets. It's like maybe I was trying to compensate for my own sense of neglect in that area, right? Well, it ain't going to happen to my kids, and it didn't, right? My kids were always bright-eyed. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look at that one. Opening one gift after the next, each of them. So yeah, it's kind of. But now it's just quiet times. Kids are all grown and gone. They have their own kids, and they're experiencing something similar like that with their kids. And that's just a cycle of life, right? Now my life is just peaceful and tranquil. I like it. I like that peace. It's a certain time, you get to a point you go, wow, this is nice. It's kind of like that. All right, look at that pig. Oh, is that pig? No, can't be. Probably just a little white mixed with some red. Yeah, isn't that cool? All that food coming in this time of year. Almost January. Whoa. I see some of them, they'll land somewhere, and they just wander around. They got their load, right, but they can't find that hole. Just wander around, and many times I'll see them, they'll go into the hole, and then they'll come back out. Like, is this the right hole? Go back in, come back out. Multiple times. And there's one right now. She went in with the orange, came back out, wandered around, came back in. Yeah. Cool, right? These are my pets. I got this dog here that I have once in a while. We share time with my ex-spouse. We share time with it, and it's my turn to have it during the holidays. Yeah, I give my dog. I don't give her any processed food like that bag dry food stuff. What I do is, so this time I went and bought a bunch of turkeys and chickens. So she's getting turkey dinner twice a day. So what I do is I take a couple of different grains and different kinds of vegetables, and I cook it all down. And I take the vegetables and I puree it. Like I grow a bunch of tomatoes, so I pureed that down. Cooked it first. I cooked it way down, right? And then pureed it and froze it in cubes. And so I froze a bunch of shredded carrots, all kinds of different sweet peas. And so what I do, sweet potatoes, is what I do is I'll mix that in her meal along with some turkey and or some chicken or hamburger or whatever I have on hand. And I'll make it almost 50-50. About half, half from the field stuff and the other half is meats. And she eats the whole thing. All of it. And then what I give her as a treat, I also have probably about 50 pounds of applesauce that I made. Nothing in it, just cooked down apples. And I put a little bit on the side of her tray because I want to give her the option whether to eat the applesauce or not. It's just pure apples, just cooked down. I don't put no cinnamon. Because I notice when I add spices or anything cinnamon or anything like that, she really doesn't want to eat that stuff. She just wants it just like it is from nature. Apples don't come with apples with cinnamon, right? She wants everything right from the field. Nothing added. No basil, no turmeric, none of that stuff. No thyme. So when I don't put no spices, she eats the whole thing, the whole turkey dinner. Spices, she'll nibble and then walk away. And I have to make new stuff and then slowly mix the two. Anyway, you get the idea. Yep. Dog food. Homemade organic dog food. Pretty much. Well, the only thing that's not organic is I grow the peas. In fact, she can have radishes, so I'll be picking some of my radishes. I had some for dinner last night. They grow better in the wintertime, my radishes. The spring and fall and summer, the bugs eat the radishes up when they're little, and so, but not so much in the wintertime. So I'm getting a lot of radishes right now in December here, and dogs can eat radishes. I would avoid the leaves. They have osculates in it, so a little bit would be okay. Maybe a half a leaf or something. Put it in there just for the nutrients. Yeah, you don't want to do too much radish leaf. And I put kale. So I got kale, Brussels sprouts I'll be putting in her dinners. Other things I got around. Just throw, cook it a little bit and throw it in her meals. That way she gets her veggies, her fruits. Just like us, right? But balanced for a dog. And we just came back from a 2-mile run/walk. And she loves her runs. And so there you go, about the bees. Is there another one, Di? Are you okay? Oh, got another one that looks a little. Got another girl. She's looking a little pale. You all right? What you got going on? You gonna sit there and die like your girlfriend? What are you doing? Anyway, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. I'm going to be doing some music recordings. I'll try to find some songs I never sang before. So I'm one of those folks that, musicians that, when I hear a song that I like, I'm not really all that focused on singing it and how the person sang it. What I do is I sing it in a way that fits my voice. And it may sound totally different. But, for people who like the lyrics and what's in the lyrics, well, I deliver them the same way in that sense. So I should have some coming out pretty soon. So watch for my music videos. I sing them live. And, all right, Merry Christmas. Bye now. Buzz, buzz, buzzing along. I didn't get stung, that's always a plus.
Bye now.